Let's start with an experiment. Pick the deepest sounding bass here. Let's go one more time. Promise, this is the last one. One more time. I'm sure most of you picked these ones. But how did I know? What is the secret? Let me show you. This is our frequency response curve. Lowest humans can hear 20 Hz and highest humans can hear 20k Hz. Idea would be super simple. The lower you go, the deeper the bass gets. However, we have one more problem. Between 20 to 30 Hz, it's a transition area, so almost half of the population won't be able to hear between 20 to 30 Hz, and most of the speakers won't be able to generate this area. So the sweet spot for deep bass will be 30 to 60 Hz. And if we make it even sweeter, it will be 35 to 55 Hz. So which notes they are? If you take a look at here, our sweet spot is right here, between D to A, I will say. This doesn't mean that you should be always using these notes, but the more you stay in this area, the deeper your track or your bass will feel. Let me show you. We can test your ear. We can go from E1, 40 Hz, to E0, to 20 Hz. And let's see if you can hear or your headphones can reproduce this sound. You probably won't hear anything or hear something in very low volume. This is the reason that you shouldn't go to that area. Let's do the test other way around. Now we are going from E1 to E2. E2 being 80 Hz, E1 again 40 Hz. When E2 hits, it doesn't feel deep anymore. Hence, these notes are your perfect deep notes. The second important parameter for getting deep bass is your duration and of course the envelope. To feel the depth of a bass, you really need to sustain it a bit. If you consider the sound that comes deep from the earth, you will always hear that they are really sustained, they are really long sounds. Hence, any short plucky sound will end up sounding aggressive and in your face. Let's take this example. At the moment, it sounds fine, but take a listen what happens when I shorten it. There are two ways to control the sustain of a note. Either you make them long and control it with the sustain of your synthesizer. We will keep playing the sound as long as I'm holding the note. If I want to make it short, I just do this. Or you can control with your decay. If you bring the sustain down, I can just make it long decay. So decay will take longer, making it sustained. So before you play with anything else, be careful with the sustain. If you're enjoying the video up to now, please consider like and subscribe. The third important thing in the sound is the timbre, and our brains associate deep sounds with filtered sounds. When we hear something deep underground, the sounds actually get filtered due to earth itself, so the sounds will be very low passed. You can emulate this by using your filter in your bass. Let's take the same bass that we used. It doesn't feel deep whatsoever. The moment we start filtering on, we kind of find a sweet spot. We still have a little bit character in it, but then we start really feel the depth of the sound. It doesn't end there though. The source of the sound also affects the perceived depth. I made this by two square waves. If we change both waves into the sawtooth waves, listen how the perceived depth of the sound changes. For some reason, the square sounds softer and deeper. The simple explanation is sawtooth waveform has both even and odd harmonics. On the other hand, square only have odd harmonics, and because of that, it feels deeper and softer to the ear. You don't of course always need to use square wave. Triangle wave does the same trick, or you can even squarify your sawtooth. For example, you can pulse width modulate, in this case if you do something like this. Here we go. Now our sawtooth is a bit softer, a bit scarified. You can really experiment with this one to create your own signature deep bass sound. Alright, what if we want to make this bass even deeper? We can use some effects. If you remember about our analogy where the bass comes from underground, the sound will be pretty diffused. You will hear the reverberation, you will hear the delay, you will hear all this type of different ambience in it. Hence you can create the same ambience with your bass as well. I'm gonna use something like Reverb Pro R, but you can use any reverb plugin really. So I want to have this reverberation coming underground. What we do, we set our bass there. I want to have it rather long, we need the sustain. I want it to be dark, also control it here. I want to have chorus so that there is like a natural, almost phasing filter applied to it. Afterwards, I'm gonna use actually one more EQ, cut the super deep bass part. Just easier to control and super highs as well. And then we're gonna play with the bass and figure out how to make it fit to the original sound. Clean? I feel like we can open up a little bit, give it a bit more character. And then when you play with the track, maybe decrease a bit more, and then I want to actually be a bit groove on it, right? We don't want to clutter our mix. I'm gonna bring in a compression, sidechain the kick. We can feel the groove on the reverb. And then there is one more thing that you can do depending on your sound. If your sound is super long, let's say we are having something like this, like a crazy reverb, then you can actually sidechain the original bass sound to open up a bit more space to the original sound. Fast attack, fast decay. It opens up and breathes bass a little bit. For my taste, this is a bit too much. Just bring it down, make it snap here. Just sidechain the kick, bring amount down. Without perfection. You don't realize there's a reverb on it until you take it off. Right? Subtle but there. Another thing that you can do is of course a delay. In this case we just bring down echo. If you make long echo sounds, the sound will feel deeper and deeper, but that might clutter your melody because you play, let's say, note D, and then when you play note B, the D comes in and it clutters the perceived sound. Hence, even though the longer delays make it deeper, I prefer to use shorter delays if I have a melody like this. You can bring down the feedback. You can even go ping pong over here just to open up more space to your bass. A bit of reverb. I'm gonna do the same trick that we did over here. Together. Bring down again. Magic is just making it subtle. It just gives you this, okay, there's something deep about this bass and that's it. I'm using of course more plucked sound over here, even though it is sustained. The same principles really applies even if you have a reese bass or even if you have a sustained long bass. Just keep these 4 principles and you are there. If you want to learn more about making professional bass sounds, take a look at over here. I have more videos.